Hello! Today I want to talk to you about Syndicate. I've been meaning to talk about this faction for like a month and a half now. I've had it written out, some notes, and said, John, I need to tell the people about the Syndicate, and then I never did. So, a month and a half later, I'm going to take advantage of the opportunity right now to discuss it with you. We have gone past the period of Syndicate seeming OP. Now they seem to be one of the weakest factions in the game, though there's still some brewing potential that might make them good. With that said, the fundamental problems of Syndicate aren't fixed, and I want to discuss those and what I think needs to be done to fix them. Let's dive in. The fundamental problem around Syndicate is that there aren't really much in terms of rewards, or isn't really much in terms of rewards for playing a particular gang or style of Syndicate. What do I mean by that? A lot of Syndicate cards is just a question of what's the best spender and what's the best way to get coins, and you put them together. Because a coin is often worth more than a point. So if you can get a lot of coins, you get a lot more than just 1 point per card. Cards like Cleaver and OG Tunnel Drill, though it's been reworked as I'm making this video, used to be some of the best spenders, so you'd run them hand in hand. And then you say, oh, well, it looks like the best way to spend coins is via damage. And so I'm going to create a deck that plays a ton of crimes. We're going to do line pockets because it's the best leader in terms of getting coins. And going to combine the damage and the coins, and ta-da, that's the deck. That's not good because that deck has actually been primarily what Syndicate has played since the start of this year when they finally became good again. So start of 2021, we're about 9 months later is what it took for them to finally fall out of meta. There were different iterations. There were Pirate Cove, there was line pockets, there was jackpot, but they all came back to what's the best spending and what's the best way to generate coins. So jackpot figured out, oh yeah, I can just generate a lot of coins with cards like Caesar and Sigi. And it's like, oh, well, I don't really need to worry about my spenders because I just go over on the profit. Great, shove all the profit cards in a deck, ta-da, that's great. And then the moment jackpot got nerfed, everyone's like, well, next best one is line pockets, and you move to there, rinse and repeat. This is not healthy for the faction. If I go over to something like Monsters, which is one of the healthier factions in the game, all their leader abilities are very different and distinct. I call this like a second tier list of abilities. It's perfectly fine, but each one forces you into playing something very specific. Death Wish, Bleeding, so vampires. Some kind of consuming oriented deck that wants to spawn a fruit every turn, or Bloody Mistress. Swarm, Wild Hunt, and they actually, CDPR went as far as to double down on the Wild Hunt aspect of it by adding in the whenever you play a Wild Hunt unit, boosted by 1. And then if there's Frost on the other side of the road, but you get the idea. Force of Nature for that Thrive Relic style, and then Carapace for a control-oriented style around Kelly. These each naturally slot into a different archetype. The peak, the best you can get to is where Scoia'tael and Skellige are, where the lines get really blurred. Like, there's a really tough line right now in the game of blurring between Battle Trance and Rage of the Sea. Just like sometimes you see a bit of a line blurred between Reckless Flurry and Patch Set of Fury. The Flurry right now has pretty much become the best leader ability, but if this drops to 14, once again, we'll start seeing lines blur a bit more heavily here. Scoia'tael, we see some blurring between Tactics, Precision Strike, Deadeye Ambush, which is great. And Nature's Gift too, where it's not clear cut which is going to be the best for any particular deck, whether you're going for a control oriented style of Scoia'tael, whether you're going for a more nature oriented style. You have to make choices. That's really good. This is like what I call tier 1 abilities. Syndicate is way behind the rest because coins, 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 coins. Yep, that's a huge problem. Blood Money is great. It's a damage-oriented ability. There are some coins here, but it's primarily damage. Congregate is great. It's a spawn-oriented ability. You can play around with it, whether you want to go Crimes of Horse and Senior, or whether you're trying to go straight up Firesworn. It's great. I guess I should also break it down, because it's coins, 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 and then spending coins, right? That's all Pirates Cove is. Fundamentally, the only two that are really different than the rest is Blood Money and Congregate. And what's happening here is a bad blurring. You just pick the one that is best of the current coins and spending situation. It's not like Scoia'tael where it's like tier 1, in my opinion, in terms of leader abilities. Because maybe you go Precision Strike for the deck thinning, or maybe you want a more throwaway leader ability in early rounds, or perhaps you want the utility from Guerrilla Tactics as well as the 2 points. Things get a little blurrier, but it's very strategic in the decision making. It's not necessarily clear cut. Syndicate is usually clear cut. Hey, are the horde cards really good? Great. Hey, give me that hidden cash. Hey, are profit cards really good? Great. We're going for jackpot. Hey, are spenders really bad right now? No problem. Pirates Cove. Let's get to Sea Jackals. Who needs spenders? Are crimes really good right now? Line pockets. It's less clear. And the moment you nerf one, you just go up to the other one. Oh man, profits. Finally, we're nerfing jackpot. Great. We're hopping over the line pockets. Next best coin one. And you hop around. It doesn't have that finesse, that blurriness that something like a Scoia'tael or a Skelligan might have. But it gets worse. It gets worse. Because that's just on the leader ability front. Now we have to talk about the payoffs. And CDPR knows this is the problem. If we look at price of power, bounty used to be a complete joke, and then all of these cards are directed at bounty, with the exception of Savvy Huckster, which I feel like is the last card in the set that must be designed, where somebody accidentally deleted a file, and they're like, oh god, we need a Syndicate common. Quickly, it needs to be bonded too. Great, got something. Profit. Damage 1, who cares about a gang tag? Go! It's a poorly designed card. This needs at least a gang tag to be mildly okay. Regardless. Basically, CDPR tried to push bounty. The problem is, there's not enough harsh payoffs when it comes to bounty. Again, it comes back to that coin spending method. The best card in terms of design is Purge, and this is why I feel that CDPR knows this is a problem. Damage an enemy unit by 3, increase the damage by 1 for every witch hunter on your side of the field. Side of the battlefield. In addition to that, we see buffs towards, which isn't listed here, but Tamara got a 1-point buff. They want a tribal witch hunter. CDPR wants a tribal witch hunter deck to exist, and that's good. It's just, again, we look at a lot of these cards, they're still pretty blurry. There's not much of a payoff. I mean, bounty is another way to spend coins and interact. Brute doesn't have any witch hunter payoff. Witchfinder is no witch hunter payoff. Scoundrel, no witch hunter. Fabian, no witch hunter. Octavian Hale is a little something, but still runs into the same problem that Passive Flora has. It's easy just to slot into a deck that's running every gang. Igneous Hale's not bad. It's a step for bounty because the payoff for running so many bounties is huge. That's really good. But notice all these other ones I mentioned so far need 1 or 2 cards to be good. Like the Brute doesn't need you to run 17 bounty cards. It needs 2, and they need to be put on a tall unit to get value. Yes, you're giving up a little bit of profit, but that boost on the base power enemy is still very much rewarded. In short, what I'm trying to say, before I descend into madness here, is that with the exception of Purge, there isn't a massive payoff, and Tamara, massive payoff for running Witch Hunters. Like, Witch Hunters as a faction. If we see a faction that's done really well here, all that filter, and yeah, Firesworn. Firesworn is done well. Cards like Sacred Flame want you to go as very hard on Firesworn units. Cards like Dai's Array, I have no idea how to say it, really wants you to go for Firesworn because you can't get that death blow. Hey, no worries, you're going to be able to benefit from the Firesworn aspect of it. And it's a Firesworn card, so Jacques' final form, if you're running Pure Devotion, you get the benefit of, hey, every Firesworn card you play gain a coin, which is actually one of the stronger abilities. People sleep on this, but Firesworn hasn't been top tier in a long time. With that said, the moment they are, I think people will remind themselves how unbelievably powerful this last line of text is. It's really good, because most coins are worth more than a single point. Procession of Penance rewards you for going hard on Firesworn, because if you don't get 5 Firesworn tokens out, it takes a little bit of effort, especially if you're not going Congregation. If you're not going all in on Firesworn, you might botch it with this card, and getting this card to only be an 8 for 6 in the current meta, and how power crept cards are, would be devastating. There are a lot of payoffs for Firesworn to really commit to it. Congregation gets 3 Firesworn Zealots, but only if you already have some existing Firesworn units. There's a lot of payoff for Firesworn. Ulrich is another one. It goes on and on. This is well designed. This says, look, if you're going to run Firesworn, you can go ham. You can do some really cool stuff with it. And we're going to reward you for that. We have a lot of payoff for it. And, but a lot of lands there. But alternatively, you can also splash it. You can do something like Congregation, Smuggle, with like 1 or 2 other cards, try to make a Horse on Senior deck. You can still put some of the cards in a deck, but if you also get rewarded if you go all in. That's really lovely, and I like that a lot. The problem is, no other factions have that. To run a scenario successfully, like Passive Flora, you only need 5 blind eyes. It's 5 is the magic number. So if you want to play Passive Flora, 5 blind eyes is what you need. You want to play Feign Death, you need 5 elves. If you want to play any of the scenarios, you need 5 siege engines. Find the way to get access to 5, and with that, you'll be very, very consistent and pretty much always get full value from it. It's why a lot of Nilfgaard decks a meta or two ago, when they wanted to run Ball, maybe it was like 3 or 4 metas ago. It's been a while since Ball was competitive. When they wanted to run Masquerade Ball, they had to go Devotion for Usurper Emperor because they were trying to hit that 5, that beautiful 5 aristocrats, and there weren't that many powerful aristocrats, so they went for Usurper Emperor. So what I'm basically saying here, big picture, is that none of the gangs have enough of a payoff. I need a card that says, for every passive floor I've played this game, profit 1 or boost each passive floor, or maybe a card just says, when it comes into play, boost each passive floor you control by 1. If you only control passive floor units, boost them all by 2, or boost them all by 1 and give them Veil. So it's a quick way to protect all of your units, or purify them all and give them Veil. Protect all your engines, something like that. I need payoffs for Syndicate to actually get rid of this horrible world of, oh, what's the best spender for the coins and the coin generators? Oh, is it crimes right now? Great. And you just smack that build a deck button. Is it jackpot? You smack it. And if we were to go, should we go rogue? Is this set up? Let's see. Can I go rogue here? Yeah, I can go rogue. So if we were to go for like, we're going to go rogue here. Team Leviathan Gaming. This is the meta reports. Let's go to meta reports for Gwent. So the new one hasn't come out. So we have 27. This is 27. This is when Line Pockets was OP. I want you to look at this list. So this was October 1st. This is the meta. I want you to look at this deck really quick. Got Professor, Sigi, Cleaver, Phillipa, Tunnel Drill before it got reworked. Very damaged, a lot of crimes, all that fun jazz. Now I'm just going to scroll down. I did not prepare this part, so let's find out. We'll do the February 3rd one. So this is pretty darn close to the start of the year after Way of the Witcher had dropped. Yeah, let's go to tier 1. All right, that's when Vi was OP. Did I go too far back? I did go too far back. So this was actually a time when our Syndicate saw no play. All right, we're going to May 6th because I can see that clearly Syndicate's seeing some play here. And tier 1 Line Pockets. Does this look familiar, guys? Does this look familiar at all? So this was May 6th. And then this is October 1st. I want you to look at these two deck lists and just let me know how different they are. We got Jacques, so we got a 12-point. Oh, we got Professor. There's your 12-point bomb. Sigi, Cleaver, Novingradian. When Horson Jr. back in the old times. So back in the old times, yeah, we used to be really bad. They had to rework it some, and then it became really, really good. There's a Furco. We got a Furco, and you start to see it looks really similar. There are some differences, I confess, but not really. Even after all these card reworks and all these changes, they're pretty darn similar. This is the Syndicate problem. Now you might say it's Line Pockets, but if I were to go, let's see, does March 7th have when Pirates Covert Jackpot was busted? We're going a little rogue off the script right now. We're just kind of winging it. We're going into the depth together. We're basically researching this together. I appreciate you not showing me. Come on, DLG, work with me, baby. All right, I'll grab one. Okay, so this meta report's not. This is July. Oh, this is when Jackpot was OP. Perfect. So let me order this in order. So this was early May. We fast forward to July, and oh my gosh, let's look at the deck. Oh, is this Jacques, Professor, Sigi, Horson Jr., Phillipa, Bank, Caesar? Now that Caesar, it's the Jackpot. Oh, Horson Freak Show. You start to notice as you go through it, it all looks the same. Oh, Poison Package, Poison. You start to see it all looks exactly the same because all this is, and you just jump from Line Pockets. Oh, Jackpot's really good. Oh, Jackpot's reworked, is finally nerfed. Great, we jump back to Line Pockets. The exact same deck. I know, so this is my Syndicate. I love the faction. I think it's really interesting. Grinds my gears because I've been playing, and when I have to play full time pretty much this game, and all I do is play Gwent, and all I do is play against the same deck, even though from patch to patch it's always the same deck every time, drives me nuts. And if Syndicate doesn't have a presence in this meta, it's because this package doesn't work. But there is a consistent card I want to call out, which is Sigi here, right? We go back to deck building. Sigi is completely busted. Basically it's profit 9 because you're only going to run of 9. It's a 4-11 intimidate, profit 9. 9 profit is not equal 9 points. It actually equals, these days, probably 1.25, 1.5. 1.5 for simple math, so it'd be 13.5 points. 9 times 1.5, so it'd be 4.5. That's the math. So 13.5 plus 4 is 17.5 points. not counting the fact you get Intimidate. That's insane. That's insane. Right? That, like, you're gonna always find yourself multi-ganging because Sigi's payoff's so high relative to what else is out there, right? We talked about Firesworn having enough payoff to make it worth it. Talked a little bit of Witch Hunter, a little bit of Bounty. I probably downplayed the Brute. The Brute at least has some reward for a lot of bounties, but it's only like 1 extra coin per bounty. Igneous Hail, 1 point per additional bounty. Really, the big payoff for for not really bounties, but Witch Hunters is that Purge card, and Purge is very well designed. I like it a lot. But Sigi's payoff is so unbelievably high, basically roughly a 17 for 11. That there's almost no point to ever having any other identity than coins. Play every gang, get as many coins as you can, and do best spending. Mind you, if you nerf Sigi, I don't think it's going to change. What you need, though, I think 12 is probably appropriate. This card quietly is truly a defining card for the entire faction. Fundamentally, what needs to happen is serious reworks. We know if they just add in a Purge-like card every 6 months, this is not going to change. You can build out other archetypes, but notice Witchfinder can just slot into any of these line pocket decks. And that's, nope, never made the cut. At least not on TLG's site. But I did see some Witchfinders on the ladder when Tunnel Drill was a thing. And you can just kind of slot these bounty cards as you want. But what Syndicate needs is like hardcore rework across a lot of cards. So like if I go to Blind Eyes, they need to say, like if I was CDPR, I would say, okay, Blind Eyes, let's pick a card that nobody plays in Blind Eyes, not super regularly. Okay, we'll take the Payroll Specialist. Make it a gold, make it a 6 for 6, make it tribute 2, give +1 to all Blind Eyes units you control. If you only control Blind Eyes units, purify them all and give them Veil, and +1/+1. Or just +1, sorry. This ain't no Magic the Gathering. So we could do something like that. If I did Salamandra, there's like a really pathetic payoff for Stolen Mutagens. It gives you 3 profit if you control 2 Salamandra units. Take one of these cards that nobody plays and just rework it. Fallen Rayla. It's a cool card. If it's ever good, I don't think it'll be healthy for the meta because it's a difficult card to deal with and it would have to be a 10 or a 9. And having something of such a high variable amount of points, if you don't have an answer to it, this can easily be a 20 for 11 or 20 for 10. That's insane. And if you do have an answer for it, it's pretty garbage. Rework it. Say, hey, look, if you only control Salamandra units, then maybe you don't need to wait for Adrenaline. That would be insane. And it would be a card very much limited by how good are your Salamandra units. That's interesting. That's payoff. That rewards you. Have cards that really care about particular gangs or tags. If we went back to Witch Hunter, for example, what card, I mean, this is the obvious one. Make it better. Or have it, I don't know, just make it stronger. You make it a 5 for 5 or a 6 for 6 with that effect. And then also, though, I will say one of the issues right now is that this style of card is you can't tutor it up. So you want to play it in round 1. There's no good tutors if you're going Devotion. I guess you can use your Neuromancy on it, but different issue for poor Syndicate here. What are some other gangs here? Tide Cloaks is the saddest of all the gangs, for the record. There's 0 synergy between any of these. Your Horde, you're more like a Blind Eyes card than a Tide Cloaks card. Your Horde, I have the same feeling. You have this weird pirate half and half. You got Sea Jackal, which cares none. They literally are completely unrelated. This generates coins. I mean, I guess there's a little synergy. It just feels like it's extended Blind Eyes. In short, all I wanna say is Syndicate needs actual card reworks if you want to make it into a more diverse faction. Unless they do that, we're going to have the same volatility of best spender and best coin generator always. And that's the entire faction. You'll have Firesworn, you'll have a meme deck Salamander, and you'll have that. It's really bad. And it's not healthy for the game. And if you're going, a lot of hands there. If you're trying to slowly trickle in cards for Syndicate to make it work, it's not going to. Cards need reworks. Cards need serious reworks. Every single gang should have at least one card that is significant and interesting, that is a payoff, a high payoff, for running more of that gang. Or else everyone's going to look and say, well, in case I just run all the gangs, which is very easy to do, why not just run Sigi, which is a 17 plus for 11? Anyways, those are my thoughts. I hope if someone from CDPR is sitting here watching it, I hope they consider doing some reworks on cards that don't see play. And not just tweaking numbers, I mean reworking cards to work directly with their particular gang. Therefore, so that we can see more diversity. Because you will never see a meta that has really significantly different Syndicate decks in it. It'll be a Syndicate deck that by far dominates all the other variations of Syndicate. Unless Firesworn goes alongside the best spender, best coin generator deck. Firesworn has a shot, but they haven't buffed it in a while. CDPR hasn't buffed it. I don't think it's going to happen. I just hope that CDPR, if you're watching this, rework some of these cards, rework them and give them the payoff. Vinci, make it so that if there's only Tide Cloaks in play, you get boost yourself by 2. Something crazy. And then you can balance the numbers. But as long as there's a 17 for 11 payoff for not caring that much about running one gang type and instead just using whatever cards you want, which is really not that hard to do. You're never going to see interesting Syndicate decks. Anyways, these are my thoughts. This for me is the fundamental problem with the faction. I do think the coin carryover from round to round is a little ridiculous, but ignoring that, the fundamental problem though is the blurring of gangs through Sigi, the blurring of all these rewarding you for having just endless amounts of coins or spending, with the exceptions of blood money and congregate. Syndicate needs some help. Syndicate needs some rework, card by card, maybe even leader ability by leader ability. You can even cheat. You can do the same thing you did here. Wild Frost reward you for playing Wild Hunt and Frost. Just make it so Pirates Cove rewards Tide Cloak players. Like, it shouldn't be that hard. Anyways, those are my thoughts. Let me know down below if I'm crazy or if you agree with me. I love you all, and I'll see you soon. Shout out to McRandar, Pseudonym81, and Ahmed Ali for their generous support on Patreon.